Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Relationship Stories. Today, someone is asking us, am I an idiot for forcing a girl to love me who already has a boyfriend? But before we give our judgment, let's hear the story from his side. This girl and I have been hanging out together since the beginning of the school year. She is so fun and beautiful and vibrant and has perfect qualities for a girlfriend. She is modest and a little shy and totally adorable. I loved hanging out with her and she told me how great I was and how much she loved spending time with me. I was on cloud 9. I really felt like we were moving towards a relationship and developing feelings for each other. Every time she texted me and asked me to hang out, my heart would jump. I was so happy. Then it all came crashing down when I found out she was dating a guy in our dorm. Not only that, but this guy looks just like me. Same race, same build, just very similar. Which means I was not wrong in her being attracted to me. I was totally shattered that she pursued this guy instead of me. What did he offer her that I didn't? Why him? Why was she throwing away the wonderful thing we had brewing between us? I was so hurt and stopped talking to her for a few days. After that, I decided that I was not going to let this thing bother me. I love her and I love our friendship and the time we spent together. I reached back out and we started hanging out again. I can tell her boyfriend doesn't like me at all and he is probably insecure about me. But I don't care because I love our relationship. However, when I confessed all this to another friend, she called me creepy and threatened to tell the first girl about my feelings if I didn't come clean or stop pursuing her. Am I the idiot for believing that there is a hope? My opinion about this issue is, it's understandable that you feel hurt and confused after finding out that the girl you have feelings for is dating someone else. However, it's important to respect her decision and her current relationship status. It's not fair to pressure her into breaking up with her boyfriend or to continue pursuing her despite her being in a relationship. It's also important to consider your friend's perspective. If she feels that your behavior is making the girl uncomfortable, it's worth reflecting on your actions and how they might be perceived. It's possible to have feelings for someone and still respect their boundaries and choices. My advice is to focus on building a strong and healthy friendship with this girl without any expectations or pressure for something more. Respect her relationship status and her choices and be supportive friend to her. It's possible that your feelings might change over time or that she might become single in the future, but it's important to prioritize her comfort and well-being in the present. Now we will see what our friends think about this issue. Our friend once said, "You are an idiot, not for believing there's hope like you ended with, but for how you are going about it. Any action you take with the intention of sabotaging the relationship so you can move in will make you the idiot. Your questions of what did he offer, why him, etc. make me wonder whether he has already dating her when you met, or if he asked her out before you did. And either way, it just means he got there first. Bad luck for you. There's nothing wrong with believing there's hope. Let the relationship play out, and if they break up, you are free to make your feelings known to her." Our friend too said, "You are an idiot for a few reasons. First, don't pursue someone who's already in a relationship. It doesn't matter what your perception is of the relationship. Just don't do it. Period. It's disrespectful as F and it makes you an automatic click word. Second, she sees you as a friend. Clearly your other female friend is right. You are being creepy as F. If you care about her, you will back off. If you can't back off, cut off the friendship. Don't hope for anything. I'm sure she'd be very hurt if she found out you were just trying to date her. When I was in college, I met a guy and I instantly felt we had chemistry. We shared interest, we had same sense of humor, we spent hours talking and joking. Everyone assumed he liked me because he paid more attention to me than other girls. He would go out of his way and sit next to me even if it was convenient to do so. I had every reason to believe he liked me back. Instead of, he showed me a picture of his girlfriend 2 months after we met. I looked similar to her except with more of a figure. I was so devastated and extremely jealous. I hated that girl, but I knew he loved her, and so I immediately stopped dropping hints and flirting. It's not my place to break up somebody's relationship. It's not yours either. Story 2. So, my father died yesterday morning. I went no contact with him and that entire side of the family about 15 years ago and have not looked back since. He was so abusive to me, abusive to my mother, and abusive to my half brother, who I don't really have nor want a relationship with. He was a violent drunk and the son of Nazi officer during World War II. He was also known for having multiple girlfriends at multiple times, usually to take their money and feed his alcohol and tobacco addiction. He was a ship-human being with no redeemable qualities. We will refer to him as Fritz. Yesterday morning, Fritz finally dropped off a heart attack, and we are all relieved and actually happy about it. Like winning a lottery ticket, we didn't even realize we entered. But his girlfriend of the year, who we will refer to as Jane, is pretty broken up about it. My mother reached out to Jane to wish her the best and express her condolences. Jane dropped a, to tell the truth, bomb, which she pinned over the fact that my mother caused Fritz's two only sons to abandon him and would not talk to him, especially in his time of need. She expressed regret over the fact that my half brother and I never bothered to rebuild the relationship and meet the rest of the family. It was very obvious that my father filled Jane's head up with lies and played the poor me game the way he did his entire life. And my mother didn't appreciate playing the blame game when she was simply trying to be nice. So she responded, Fritz had two different sons, 10 years apart with two different women, in two different cities, in two different situations. And they both decided to cut off contact and they both feel zero regret or grief. Perhaps if Fritz took some responsibility for his actions for once in his life, he would not have felt so alone when he passed. Jane ended up saying a bunch of nasty messages before blocking my mother completely, so I sent a message to Jane. Jane, I'm sorry for your loss, but you have known him for literally 1/25th of the time that I have known him. You do not get to comment on my or my brother's relationship with him. You don't get to pass judgment on what I chose to do after the trauma I experienced. And you certainly don't get to send nasty grams after we tried to offer condolences. We have no idea who you are. Frankly, we have no interest in learning. There is no rest of the family. He was not part of the family, and you certainly are not either. If he lived for another 2 years, he would have had another two girlfriends. I understand you thought you were different because he never pushed you down the stairs or sunk his forearm around your throat. I understand that you are hurt and that this is tough for you. But that doesn't make you a member of this family. Have a nice day. Never contact us again. The rest of the family agrees that it's a good thing Fritz passed, but my message specifically was a little overboard to Jane. So, am I the idiot here, guys? My opinion about this issue is, OP, it is understandable that you and your family feel relieved and happy about your father's passing. Given his history of abuse and terrible behavior, it is also understandable that you and your brother just chose to cut off contact with him, especially after experiencing trauma due to his actions. Regarding Jane, while it is possible that your father filled her head with lies and played the poor me game, it is also possible that she genuinely cared about him and is grieving his loss. Your mother's response to her comment was justified given the circumstances. However, your message to Jane may have been a bit harsh, especially since she is not directly responsible for your father's behavior towards you and your family. It is important to remember that people grieve differently and have their own perspectives on a situation. It may be helpful to take a step back and consider if there is more empathetic way to respond to Jane, while still setting boundaries and asserting your feelings and experiences. Now we will see what our friends think about this issue. Our friend once said, not an idiot. It was rather generous of your mother to offer condolences in the first place, and the response she got was incredibly rude. It's one thing for Jane to have the wrong story, another entirely for her to lash out when confronted with the truth. Your response was blunt but not cruel or over the top considering the ridiculous response from Jane. Grief does not give you a free pass to be an idiot. I have been there and I can relate with the struggle of keeping overflowing emotions inside until an appropriate time to let them out. I hope Jane leaves you and your mother alone and moves on. Our friend too said, not an idiot. I could go with everyone's sex, but I don't think any of you probably do. Our friend too said, I'm going to buck the trend a bit and say not an idiot here, but I could go with everyone is an idiot. I know all too well the chaos having someone like this in your family can cause, as well as how manipulative and believable their lies can be. I think you are all victims of the only true idiot in this story. I think your message was unnecessary and over the top. It was done, people were blocked, and the mature response would have been to move on. And she probably had a psychological number done on her at the very least, and may have experienced physical abuse but still not yet broken out of the "it's not that bad and I deserve it anyway" mindset a lot of abuse victims experience. But Jane's message to your mom was super shippy too, and she did probably think she was different or not understand what you guys went through, and so I think it's natural to want the correct record as it were. Plus, I'm sure his death was brought up a lot of complex emotions for you, but this kind of stuff tends to stir things up, even if the predominant feeling is happiness and relief. Ship's complex, basically, but people don't act perfectly in these situations. Story 3. This girl and I run in the same group of people. She's a total knockout and a lot of the guys were into her, including me, but I figured I didn't have a shot. She came on to me at my birthday party and we ended up making out, which everyone knew about. I figured I might as well shoot my shot and asked her out that night. And we have been dating for a few weeks. Most of our friends think we are still hooking up, but don't know we are dating because we didn't want the social pressure right away. I was at a party and some of the guys were raging on me for hooking up with her. And one of the guys made a joke where he suggested that I blindfold her and let the other guys take turns on her. A couple of the guys told him that it was not cool to stay and he brushed it off. I told her about it later and she told me she doesn't feel comfortable around him knowing that he said that. And told me she was not going to tell me to who to be friends with, but she had been more comfortable if I didn't hang around with him anymore, outside of a big group hangouts either. I agreed, and the next time this guy asked me to hang out, I told him I was not comfortable given what he said. He told me I am overreacting and only doing it because this girl is hot and I wanted to be her white knight. Am I the idiot here, guys? My opinion about this issue is, no, you are not an idiot in this situation. It's completely understandable that your girlfriend would not feel comfortable around someone who made such a disrespectful and offensive joke about her. And it's appropriate for you to prioritize her feelings and safety over maintaining a friendship with someone who would say something like that. Furthermore, it's important to call out the condemned behavior like this, as it contributes to a culture of objectification and disrespect towards women. The fact that the guy brushed off the comment as a joke only shows that he doesn't take this issue seriously and doesn't see the harm in his words. In short, you did the right thing by standing up for your girlfriend and refusing to continue hanging out with someone who would make such a disgusting comment. Now we will see what our friends think about this issue. Not an idiot, that's freaked up, and it's a scary indicator of his mind frame and worldview that he could think suggesting you all gang rape a girl. A girl you are romantically involved with no less is a hilarious idea and a funny joke to tell among friends, and tells you you are an overreacting white knight for feeling uncomfortable. Major red flags. He's got some serious issues and a twisted view of women. You are better off without someone like that. Our friend too said, not an idiot. As someone who was the girlfriend in a similar situation, it means so much to stand up to that guy. My ex basically put a friend on probation after a racist and anti Semitic outburst that I became the target of. Actually, I'm Jewish, but after like 3 weeks was annoyed with me that I still felt stuck at the idea of having him around. For the last year of our relationship, he kept bringing this guy around and asking me to just get over it. While he never spoke to that degree around us again, he would still tell me jokes like, Rabbi, why are you spray painting a swastika on the synagogue? That someone I loved and lived with was so okay with asking me to be around and cordial with such a person. Despite I told him how unsafe it made me feel. They were friends of 10 plus years, much longer than I had been around, and I knew I had no place to tell my ex to cut him off. But to ask me to be okay with him, sorry for the spoil, but this hits really close for me. I sympathize with how your girlfriend must feel. The dude who made the comment is the idiot here. Like she said, she is not asking you to cut him off, but if you do because what he said genuinely disgusts you or because you actually care about how safe she feels, that makes sense.